Before we start up, check out the Dork Album Volume 1. You can pre-order it now right off of Indiegogo. Support the channel. Let's do the thing. Learn a little something. Take a lesson. Learn it all.
And so last year we talked about Carnage. And you know, I was like, how does that happen? So we already know how that can happen. But since then, it was just kind of like a theory that you're looking into buffing them up. But since then, you've done that. You've done Venom, Colossus, Old Man Logan. You know, a lot of the I guess meme tier champions. You know, She-Hulk came back in a big way. We saw that in the championship. So you guys have obviously ramped that up. How many? So you're at about what, like two per I guess a quarter.
Yeah, I think roughly. I'm trying to remember what the cadence is right now. I think it's like 2 per quarter, 2 per half, more like, yeah, because we go through we're not just, especially with that last round, right? We will go through the voting phase, and then based on who's chosen, then it goes through the design phase, that goes through iteration, and then even once we've kind of completed that initial pass, it's testing, and then we always put it out for the beta to actually get feedback on that. So I think it's roughly kind of more. I think it's more kind of probably closer to 2 per half. But yeah, it's something that we're continuing on, and players love it. And especially when you see the last one, right, when Colossus got voted in, like we didn't expect that it was going to turn into that, right, where players are now like trying to rally all their friends to vote for the champion that they want reworked, essentially, right? And so it's a great community win as well when we allow you to choose like who are the champions that you want up. And so we're already talking about like the next round of that, who are the champions we're going to shortlist and then allow folks to vote for. So yeah, we're going to continue rolling on that stuff.
So how do you decide between like, for instance, Diablo is everyone's favorite to kind of step on, but how do you decide, like, Diablo's pretty new versus bringing up like Storm or OG Black Panther, some of the older champions that kind of need to be bumped up a little bit. Yeah. Is there like this guy's new, we can just maybe tweak the numbers a little bit versus that's a complete rework?
Yeah, and so it's the volume of work and complexity. So like for us to go back and do a rework, it's like a full character pass pretty much, right? We're completely building a character's kit for the most part from scratch. So when we look at more recent champions like Diablo or any of the 2019 champions, we want to lean more towards like the balancing pass side of it, where it's like, hey, where are the champions underperforming, overperforming, and modifying the variables within their existing kits? Because like the one thing is, like, especially like over time, the way that we design champions, the amount of effort that goes into it, how much we leverage data and play testing has changed drastically. And a good example, right, is like you look at our launch list of champions. We always joke about this, but like you look at our launch list of champions versus champions now, right? You look at OG Captain Marvel. Her like bio is like 3 lines long. We understand how her kit is. Like Abomination, it's like almost 1 line. He does poison every time you hit him, every time you crit on him. And so they're drastically. They're so simple compared to what we have now. And so for us to go back and rework makes sense because it brings new life into those champions. And I always look at it as like, somebody who's rolling their first 4-star, it could be anywhere from, Corvus Glaive to like OG Black Panther. And it's like when you look at those two champions side by side, it's like you can literally see the age on them, right? Yeah. And so we want to try and bring back some of those older champions, give them more life. So that when somebody gets it for the first time or any time, right, they see the value in it and there's an area to use it. With more recent champions, a lot of that intent is already there of what is the niche that this champion's going to fill. And because they also are so recent, is we kind of need to let them get out into the environment and monitor how they perform in players' hands, like what the use of them is, whether it's in PD content or alliance content, to actually get data back on seeing like, okay, was the goal and intent of how we want to build this champion, was it fulfilled? If not, why? Or in the case of like, is it actually fulfilling like the role that we intended to have? Are players even using their character correctly or understand the loop? So I think when you have these more recent champions, we kind of need to let them get out and bake to actually gut check, does a champion need a full rework versus balance? And that's why we're kind of leaning more towards balance passes versus like, OG Black Panther's been out for like 5 years now. So like, we know we have plenty of data on OG Black Panther to see how he's doing. Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, I think that pretty much fills up all the questions. If I have more, I'll just make an addendum to the video. Yeah, or just have someone walk in front of the video. It's all good. Yeah. No, it's all good. It's all good. Guys, thanks so much for watching. This is Luke, executive producer on MCOC. A lot of information here. Make sure to leave your comments down below. And thank you once again. Remember, stay dorky, and I'll catch y'all on the flip. Learn a little something. Take a
lesson. Learn it all.